Okay, so we have a question here. Is there a sin that cannot be forgiven? In Islam, there is no sin that cannot be forgiven after repentance. However, we cannot be sure whether the sin will be forgiven or not. And so that's why repentance should have two conditions. And these are number one, remorse for the sin committed. And number two, sincerity in turning back to Allah. These two conditions increase the chances of repentance being accepted by Allah. As for the sins that are not repented, meaning somebody died while committing this sin, it is the sin of shirk, or associating partners to Allah, or worshipping beings other than Allah. This is the only sin that will never be forgiven. We can find in Surah An-Nisa, Inna Allah la yaghfiru an yushrika bihi wa yaghfiru ma duna dhalika liman yasha. Wa man yushrik billahi faqad dhalla dhalalan ba'ida. Verily, Allah does not forgive the sin of setting up partners in worship with Him, but He forgives to whom He pleases sins other than that. And whoever sets up partners in worship with Allah has indeed strayed away from the right path. Some of the major sins are to kill somebody, to slander someone that he or she has fornicated, to commit fornication, to escape or abandon from a battlefield, to cast a spell, to spend an orphan's money on one's own needs, to disrespect and disobey one's parents, to get and spend interest or usury, to steal, to drink alcohol, and to gamble. If a Muslim commits a major sin, he is not regarded to have exited Islam as a believer. The majority of the scholars hold the view that a Muslim who commits a major sin will not exit Islam and he will not stay in hell forever. They even say that if a Muslim dies without repenting, Allah will forgive him out of His generosity. So all the sins are forgiven except the sin of worshipping others besides Allah. If somebody died and they died in a state of disbelief, meaning they worship other beings besides Allah, like they worship idols, statues made of wood and stones, animals, or a human being like Jesus. All of these are created beings. If someone died worshiping created beings, that's the only sin that cannot be forgiven. We can find another verse in the Quran. Inna Allah la yaghfiru an yushrika bihi wa yaghfiru ma duna dhalika liman yasha. Wa man yushrik billahi faqad iftara ithman nadima. Verily, Allah does not forgive that partners should be set up with Him in worship, but He forgives except that to whom He pleases. And whoever sets up partners with Allah in worship, he has indeed invented a tremendous sin. One of the well-known slogans of Islam that's being used in da'wah is worship the Creator, not the creation. Because the most important teaching in Islam is Tawheed, or the oneness of Allah. He alone is the Creator, the one who lives and never dies, the one who begets not, nor was He begotten. He has no son or any partner in His divinity, the one who sustains and provides the needs of the creation. No one is like Him. Nothing is comparable to Him. And so that's why He alone deserves to be worshipped. And now if somebody died not doing that, not worshiping the Creator, then that's the only time that the sin will not be forgiven. Wallahu a'lam, and Allah knows best.